Hello, everybody. I am Angie Callan, and this is No More Mondays. Good Monday morning. This is the podcast where we believe you can have a thriving career or business and an amazing life on your terms. And I bring you people who are walking that walk and talking that talk with amazing stories, strategies, and tools to help you live and work more authentically. Speaking of stories, today's guest, Ryan Koral, is the founder of Tell Studios and Enroll Films. He is a guy who has built his entire career around helping people tell stories that matter. But here's the thing. This isn't going to be another conversation about how to create content and how to make a video, because we've talked about that a lot lately. Today, we're digging into a much deeper topic around stories, and that is the why behind them and why it is so important for us to tell them. Ryan believes that people connect with people, not brands, and I wholeheartedly agree. And that telling your story might be the most courageous and impactful thing you ever do as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a human on this planet. Why are we so hesitant to share the truth behind our work and find out what happens when we do? But most importantly, how do you tell a story that doesn't just sell, but says something meaningful? We're getting into the good stuff. Ryan Koral, welcome to No More Mondays.
Angie, thanks for having me. Super pumped to be here with you.
I love this. So I've got to give everybody the backstory. I think, Ryan, you are the bookend of all the things. I think you're the last one in the series of interviews that came from The Thing. And everybody that listens regularly now knows all about The Thing. And so it's always really fun to have a conversation with somebody that you got to spend a weekend with at a conference, get to know. I got to be teaser on Ryan's podcast. And so I'm excited to flip the script and chat about why stories are so important. So welcome.
Thank you. And funny enough, after our time together, I'm interviewing Phil Mershon for my show after this. So I've done the speaker, just hit them all. So it's great.
One big happy family.
That's right.
I love it. So you said something, and as I was like researching how you talk about stories, and even how I've heard you talk about stories in person, I really love the people part. And I have a hashtag on LinkedIn called Humans Still Matter. So that should just tell you how much I think it is very true that people connect with people and not brands. I want you to tell me more about your perspective on that.
Well, I mean, we're in such an interesting time. I just posted something on my LinkedIn today. I was in Google messing around with VO, I think is how you pronounce it. And I made 2 video clips, and insane. Like, I gave it this prompt and it talks, right? These AI generated videos, they talk, and oh my gosh, I shared them with my wife, and she's like, wait, those people aren't real? It is wild.
I think Jim showed me one of these a few days ago. And I mean, they even intentionally put slip ups and
yes,
on a guy dropped his phone into a cup of coffee in the video to make it look legitimate. And it was like, this is a little bit scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're in this space where people are probably feeling like, oh gosh, I don't have to show up now. I can, we don't even have to hire a production company. We don't need Tell Studios. We can just make up, all the video content that we need. I think we're a ways away from that. Definitely, with all of the opportunities to create AI generate stuff, it's really cool. And there's definitely a use for it. I think when we start thinking about the kinds of products, services that we need, we are drawn to connection. And if we don't feel connected to a brand, there's a lot less likely of a chance that we're going to work with that company. If it can feel human, if it can feel real, authentic, we buy through emotion, and we justify the decisions to buy through logic. And so, like, if you can tug at somebody's heartstrings, then you are winning. You're going to get people to lean in and to care and to want to know. Yes. And if we're looking at company A versus company B, and company A made them feel something, they're going to want to work with company A. And company A might be more expensive, but people are going to justify that because they feel this connection. They want to support that work, or they want to be aligned with that business. So, with all of the AI generated stuff, it's like so much more important today for us to be showing up like our real selves. The competition is going to continue to become more and more soulless, even though it's going to look and sound and might even feel kind of real. But as soon as you realize that it's not real,
there goes the trust
factor,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, what is it? Like, know, like, and trust. If we can get people to know us,
KLT.
like us, trust us, right? They're gonna they're gonna want to work with us.
Yes.
And that whole trust factor, so I'm gonna make content and I'm gonna say, hey, this is not like this is fake, you guys, but like can you believe it? To exchange that for this ability, especially like, if you're a coach or you have a service-based business and people are actually going to be interacting with other people from your company, why wouldn't you want to introduce your company, your people, yourself to the people that you might be working with? Like, that's where true connection begins. And to just carry that through, inviting people into your story, into your why you care about this work, why you care about this thing, why you care about your clients, why you care about the results that you're able to bring them. Those are the things in my mind that really are going to make a difference, especially in these days where you don't know what you're watching. Is this real?
Yep.
And yeah, so.
And I think there's the punchline. And I love where you took us, because I think the people connect with people is more important now than ever. I feel like I can actually, instead of humans still matter, it can say humans matter more now. Yeah. And I think what's going to happen is, and I've actually even seen it already, the gravitation towards something that is clearly human or clearly created by a human over something that could have been or clearly was robotically generated. And I think that separation is going to become clearer. And what I think is so interesting is this goes into the idea that story trumps production. And I'm curious when because you've been doing this way before AI was around, or at least accessible to anyone outside of the medical field. Yeah. And so I'm curious when you really first realized that it was the story, not the production, that was really the asset.
Yeah. Probably at the I don't know if at the very beginning. I've gone through phases in my work, but probably I've been doing this professionally for 20 years, running my video production business for 20 years. And when I started, the production quality was not good. And so every time we booked a job, tape. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Tape. And every time we book a job, I'd try to buy another piece of equipment that would make it look more professional. And then in 2010 or so, as cell phones, the quality got better and better for shooting photo and video, more and more people were producing content. There's a lot more forgiveness for stuff that looked bad. And that was frustrating as a creative, as somebody who's trying to light everything to make it look so good and feel cinematic, to whereas today it's like, it doesn't, there was a time and place for that. Obviously I still care about it because I look pretty good right now. I mean,
you do. Your background is I'm jealous. There's a little jealousy there.
But when it comes to, like, I know what builds trust, and it's the realness, it's the rawness, it's the showing up, not having all of your stuff together. When we're doing testimonials now, I'm telling clients, like, hey, if we're going to be at a big conference and you're going to have all your big people there, that's a great time to get amazing sound bites, feedback, all of this stuff. Some of that we can light and have it look like this, but then, we should also just get some stuff like a little shaky camera, not the best. Let's stand by a window instead of like having a 3-point lighting thing. Like, let's make it feel like we're working with an organization right now where the video that we're creating is for high school students. And I'm like, we're definitely shooting this vertically, and it probably should feel like it was shot on an iPhone. It doesn't have to be shot on an iPhone necessarily, but it needs to have that realness to it to build that trust with our ideal audience there. So my desire for perfectionism in the way that we shoot and everything to look and feel a certain way, it's like, man, it doesn't need to be like it used to be. It shouldn't be.
Well, and I think what's interesting there is, again, it goes back to the story being the asset, and the production could get in the way of telling that story or having that story connect with the people that you want to connect to if you're not careful, based on kind of how people currently consume or perceive information.
Yeah. Well, if we just look at what's happened the last, well, I don't know, thousands of years, story is the thing that people are drawn to, whether it's around a campfire or it's, from a stage or, wherever. But that's the thing that we just crave. That's why people binge shows, is because like the story is so just,
it's also how we remember things. Right.
Yeah.
I always say there's a reason Jesus taught in fables, right? there's like a little bit of a show, not tell, and a little bit of an interpretation. And then there's the ability to remember the story instead of necessarily the ending.
Yeah. Well, and so to your point there, when you talk about stories, like when you share your perspective or your experience or your journey, that sticks with people. So if you're not telling your story, you're not sticking. And there's things.
Sticky's important in this current market, and all the distractions that keep people from sticking.
100%. I think about Harmon Brothers. I don't know if you know this production team, but they're the ones who made like Squatty Potty.
That's some good old Shark Tank stuff right there.
Yeah, so like hilarious, like those commercials are unforgettable, right? And there's no story there. It's just production. It's like this amazing script and hilarious and whatever. So people remember that. But then when you are the brand or you're a key piece of who your brand is, if you're not sharing your story and telling your story and creating connection and showing up and letting people know that you are a real person, you're a real business owner, you're somebody who cares, that's the thing that's going to help them differentiate between the other company, the other coach, the other brand, whatever, they're not sharing their story. It's like, oh man, well, I feel really more aligned and connected over here. So who am I going to work with? You're going to work with the people that you remember. And if you look and sound like everybody else, or you don't show up online like everybody else, then you're not going to be remembered. And it's just going to be harder and harder. You're making it harder to get hired and to be able to, build something that is sustainable.
And that is truer more in knowledge and service based, not like IP based business, even than products.
Yeah.
But to go back to something you said at the beginning, there's the perfect poster child for the emotional sale, the selling emotionally, even if the product is more expensive and maybe not the prevailing technology. You probably have it in your hand, people. You might be listening to us on it right now. And it's a little thing called Apple, right? They nailed the emotion of what a phone can do, not the technology that you'd be having in your hand. And that's the power of stories. And so now is the perfect time to understand what you see is holding people back, right? Why are we so scared to tell our stories, own this voice? Why is it so hard to get into this kind of narrative base? And you're smiling, which means I hit something. So tell us.
Yeah, it's just, it's become one of my biggest frustrations. And here's the thing. I have not always felt like this. When I started my business, the old name or our whatever, our LLC is Epic Creative Group. And I chose the word epic because I'm like, man, we all have these like epic lives. We don't think of our lives being epic. You talk to most people, it's like, no, it's just like whatever, normal life or whatever. But my thing was like, man, I want to help people tell their story and help them believe that they have something to offer that can help somebody else. And I believe that we all do. Our journeys have, wherever we've come from, we've learned, we've taken away, we've survived this long. We have something to offer to somebody else to help them. And so that's kind of been my mission. But as the turntables have turned, and I've wanted to do more than just be behind the camera and help people tell their story, I'm like, man, I want to help people, empower them to be telling their story without me. And as I've been doing that more and more and talking, like, dude, you just need to show up, like, just grab your phone, shoot the video, forget about the lighting or whatever. People need to hear this. This is really, really important. Stop putting this off. It's become really easy for me to say that. But then when I look at my own story and my own passion and all this stuff, I'm like, well, there are a lot of people out there doing this way better than I am. So I'm not going to get out there and do this. Like, I'll let the other people like do the thing. And so I've just realized, like, oh my gosh, I fell into this trap, that
the comparison trap.
Comparison trap, and just don't share, because you know what? Somebody else they've got a YouTube channel, they've got 1 million subs. I'm not even gonna I do not want to compete with it. I'm gonna be embarrassed. I'm gonna get like 17 subs and 100 people maybe at most might watch my videos. My mom hitting refresh until it gets to 100 or
Hi,
whatever.
Sonny. That's
Yeah.
me. Hi, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Yep. Thanks, Mom. So I believe so much more. There's this saying that I say. Is that what that's what you do? Is saying.
That's okay. Yeah, that's good. That's great. That's good English. You got it, Ryan.
Your mission is more important than your mug, and I've kind of expanded that. Your mission, your ministry, your message is more important than your mug. Whatever I don't like how I look on camera. I don't like how I sound. I'm not as good as, so-and-so, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like the thing that you care about, the why behind your business and why you do your business and how you help people, that's the most important thing, right? The thing that like how you are helping transform people's lives, that is beautiful and amazing. And don't get in the way of that. And the way that we get in the way of that, wow, lots of ways. The way that we get in the way is by not showing up and not believing that that we believing that we can help, but it's not gonna, if I show up on video, like what's that? That's just I'm gonna be embarrassed, and it's just, not gonna get the views, and it's gonna live there forever, and that's embarrassing and whatever. Or like a year from now, I'm probably not going to think the same. Like I evolve in the things I think about. So if I say this and take a stance a year from now, people are going to say like, well, you're contradicting yourself because you used to say that. It's like, get out of the way. If you want to help as many people, if you really believe that what you offer can be helpful, then the best thing you can do is to show up for your people and to share your story, your passion, your why, to give them insights, to help them along, for free or whatever you want to call it on social until they're ready, until the trust is there, or it's the right time for them to reach out and say, hey, I would love to actually work together with you. I've been listening to you for a long time. I had somebody reach out to me today on LinkedIn, and he said, dude, I met you in Austin at this event that we were at, I don't even know, 12, 14 years ago. He's like, I've been listening to you forever.
That's like, sticky, baby. Yeah.
He's like, and I'm so sorry. I should have reached out sooner. I said, bro, you don't worry about it. I'm still alive. So you didn't, you're not too late.
Didn't miss a boat.
But he's just, yeah. But he was asking me about this cohort that I'm doing. He was like, man, like my wife and I were listening to you. You reshared this thing that this wasn't your own content, but the things that you're sharing are so helpful and insightful. And I just wanted to say thank you. So that's like, if I'm not showing up, I'm not helping. And so just come back to this thing, like your message is more important than all of the excuses that you're going to come up with. Oh, I don't have the technology. Yeah, you do, because your phone can probably shoot.
You got a phone.
And if you don't have a light, well, if you have,
there's a thing called the sun.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's, I think, what people crave and can relate with more. And I probably got my own way because I've tried so hard to make everything look so good that for some people it's like, oh gosh, my stuff's never going to look as good as Ryan's. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be. Like, that's been my excuse. And now I'm fully embracing this. Like, no. I got to stop hiding behind the camera or behind my computer and start showing up so I can help more people and serve more people.
I think there's a really interesting way to bring several little things we've talked about together is that, people connect with people before they connect with anything else. And the people to people connection will be the stickiest ever.
Yeah.
But I also think what's interesting is we talk about this why, or the mission, your ministry, the message, however your purpose, however it feels stickiest to you to define that to yourself, you have to be really connected to that in order to then go have people connect with it. And if you're really rooted in that, now you just got to get over yourself and take action in order to get out there. But I want to go somewhere, a slight tangent, and talk to people out there who might not know the why yet.
Yeah.
So how do you so the vulnerability is one thing, and that's a little bit of get over yourself, stop comparing, stop using excuses. But if you're not even to that point yet, and you feel like you may have something, but you haven't necessarily identified the story or the why, what are some little tips that you may have in identifying it?
Yeah, that's really good. I was taking notes as you said that. If you're really connected with your why, it becomes a lot easier
Yeah.
right? But if you're just kind of like, wait, why do I do? Am I making an impact? So I think asking the people that you're working for or with how you might be helping them. A lot of us we're either humble or fake humble or whatever. Like we know we're supposed to be humble, so we don't we don't want to gloat and say like, oh, I've helped, people make X amount of dollars, or I've, whatever. There's just like this ickiness that I've had to kind of overcome and just say like, no, I need to really find out what are some of those real data points, because like I said, people will buy because of emotion, but they're going to justify through logic. And so they need some of those stats, or what's the ROI on this, or how many people have you helped, or how long you've been in business, or whatever those things are. So asking the people that you've been working with, how have I helped you? Have I helped you? Question mark. And if people say no, then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's probably why they haven't hired me. But if you've got people who hired you more than once,
yes, go get some evidence.
Have other people help you figure out how you've helped them. And that can help you see like, oh, okay, so I am serving a purpose. And then, I think just being able to articulate, like, why do you do the work that you do? Like, what do you love about it? Oh man, I love when I get an email back from a client that just says like, this video was the whole experience was amazing. Your team was super fun to work with. And, we've got all these people who've seen the video, people have signed up to our program or whatever. Thank you. I'm like, okay, all right. This feels good. I feel like I'm serving a purpose. So, getting those receipts and really understanding why do you do sometimes if we dig deep enough, we might realize like, I don't really like my why. And why am I doing this work? I should be doing something else. So that could actually happen, but that can be okay, because if you're not supposed to be doing that work, get to doing the work that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Now you at least have, you have the awareness. And that's where some of this is also now you've created vulnerability for yourself of like, okay, maybe I'm not telling the story because I'm not connected with it. I don't like the story that I have to tell. You also have the power to kind of change that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think, I'm in this video production space, and I'm friends with so many other filmmakers and video businesses all throughout, just all over the world. And there can be this fear of like, oh, I'm going to take their business, or they're going to take business from me. And I think at the end of the day, like, I'm not for everyone. Like, my personality, some people love it and other people are like annoyed by it. I don't want to work with people that are annoyed by my personality because it's just going to not feel good for anybody. And so just knowing that you're not for everybody. And if you show up and you're vulnerable, you share your story, know that some people are going to be like, it's a pass. It's a no. You just save yourself a 20-minute discovery call. You just save yourself, in our case, sometimes it's weeks and weeks of working together with a client. You just saved yourself all this like stress that you just didn't need to have, because you showed up and you shared what you care about, and you shared your why, and you shared, how you help, and you were actually a little bit goofy and kind of sarcastic, and you weren't afraid to be yourself. Like, that's me. When I've done that in the past, I've had people say like, dude, like, if you can do that for our brand, we're going to win. And then I've had plenty of people that haven't hired us because they're like,
that's not their jam. And this is why we get along, because I'm not everybody's flavor. Because I take everyone else's worlds very seriously. I just don't take myself that seriously because, well, we only got this one life and I'd like to get out alive.
Yeah. I'm with you.
You said something a minute ago that hit, and it was the, we have this feeling like, or we feel like we're supposed to be humble. We can't brag. And I started putting some dots together in this idea that it's different to be confident and humble versus egotistical. There's a huge space in between there. But I think what a lot of times we end up doing to ourselves, and this comes right back to why we may not tell our story, is then we turn I can't be confident and humble, or the assumption that we can't, without being egotistical, into therefore I must play small.
Yeah.
And so therefore now we feel like we don't have a story to tell.
Right. That's why the work that I've gotten to do for the last 20 years has been so fulfilling, because as people are like, some are more hesitant than others of like, yeah, I know we should be telling our story. I don't know what our story, we're just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. But okay, yeah, somebody told us we need to tell our story. So to be able to pull the things out, the things that to everybody else, it just is like, this is just what we do. This is normal. It's like, it's not normal. When you just explain how you started and why you started and the challenges that you went through, but you kept pushing through, like most people would have given up. Like people wouldn't have gotten this far. Like it's amazing what you've come through. So to have somebody pulling that out, that's why, consultants and coaches and strategists and all that, they're so great to invite into your space, so you can start to see it like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll do these brand videos and give them to a client, and they'll be like, wow, I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about. And they wouldn't create that on their own, because it does feel like I'm bragging or I'm overconfident or whatever. But we help them come from a place of like, hey, you don't have it all figured out, but you have figured some things out, and you're figuring things out, and you're failing forward. So in that spirit, tell me, like, what's been working? What would you say is like one of the keys to your success in all of this? Like, oh, well, you're right. Like, we don't have it all figured out. Like, so when you start from that place of humility and just assume like, yeah, we're still figuring it out. Well, yeah, but you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of me. So how did you get there? It's very different when you have somebody guiding you through that than for you to ask yourself, like, okay, like, can I take this? And the whole time you're questioning yourself, like, is this humble enough? Am I being honest? Am I being authentic in all of this? Because I think there's that fear of people feeling like you are, you're trying to paint a better picture of yourself than you actually are. You're putting a filter on yourself and showing up better than what life really is like.
You bring a third party into that, and all of a sudden now you have an unbiased perspective that kind of gives you permission to own something that otherwise, we're really good. The story we tell ourselves is the loudest and the strongest. And so that's where this idea of like staying in that without somebody tugging the thread out externally can keep you playing small, because you don't feel like you're allowed to validate your accomplishments and your success in the way you should. And you can, and you almost need to, in order for them to kind of resonate from a business perspective. And so I want to flip the script for a second. You ready?
I don't know.
We've talked lots about stories. We've talked lots about our whys. We've talked a little bit about vulnerability. So I'm curious, Ryan, what story have you been telling yourself lately?
Oh, come on.
Coachable moment right on the podcast, y'all. It's live.
Story I've been telling myself. Okay, so because I've been practicing this, the story that I've been telling myself is that I have what it takes. I've come through. If you have, I've got 400 something episodes of my podcast. I've been doing this I've been showing up for a long time, but there's a majority of that time where I was like, I can have a conversation with somebody else. I can have a guest on and invite them into conversation, but to do a solo episode, or for me to make a 10-minute long YouTube video where I'm like teaching something, like I'm not doing it, because I know this person's better than me at that, this person. But as I've flexed that muscle, stretched that muscle, worked out that muscle of showing up and failing forward, it's like, no, you know what? I actually do have something to offer, and it's not where I want it to be. I'm not as put together. I don't have all of the things the way that I want them, but I'm still I'm gonna do it, and that feels really good. It feels a lot better to be on the side of like, you know what? I've been doing this for a long time, and I have learned some things, and I want to show them, and I want to practice them. I want to put them into practice as I'm challenging and encouraging other people. Like, hey, you got to start that YouTube channel. That's what I'm doing. Starting a YouTube channel, doubling down. I'm doing the things that it's been real easy for me to tell and help other people do it. And now I'm like, what's going to be a lot more believable is if I struggle through that. But most importantly, if I do it.
Yes. Ooh, thank you for sharing. Because that's
You're
the kind
welcome.
of like, that's real. And that is I'm going to own what I know I have to offer instead of thinking I can't because
Yeah.
someone else has already owned it. You're going to gravitate, people are going to gravitate towards you versus other people, right? But just like you said, not everybody's every flavor. So, I appreciate you sharing that, not only because there's somebody out there who needed to hear it, but I'm in a similar space. So as a moment of meet you at vulnerable, I've been really, because I'm in a point of shifting my business from the thing I used to do to now supporting the people who do that. Right. So it's kind of
Mm,
that similar thing of after all
yeah.
these years of building this experience, I now
Yeah.
know that's competence and I have a new zone of genius that I need to go
Yeah.
operate in. And that, there's a certain little level of scary when you kind of make that leap.
Yeah.
And owning the fact that like, okay, I have credibility. I know what I know, and I'm allowed, and people want to learn the knowledge, is exposing. And so
Yeah.
we can live in this world together, Ryan.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it is. I'm learning it's the better place to live in. A little bit of uncertainty. You got to take some bigger steps of faith, but the reward on the other side, it's just like, oh man, I'm doing the thing. I'm taking some swings. I'm missing, but man, I would rather be. Sorry for all the sports analogies, but
Oh,
I'd
I
rather
love a good
be
sports analogy. So no
in the
worries.
arena, doing the thing. So yeah, for that, I'm grateful.
I love it. And so, speaking of you now putting this thought leadership out in a new way, this seems like the perfect segue to let everybody know how they can tune into it. So, where do we find you and learn more about how to tell a great story?
Oh man. Well, my favorite place for posting on social is LinkedIn. So you can find me Ryan Koral. It's Koral. So it's pronounced like under the C, but spelled totally different. So on LinkedIn, and then I'm launching. This is not going to go to your people till after this current cohort is launched, but I'm really trying to build a community of people that say, I want to show up on video. No, they're probably saying, I don't really want to show up on video. I know I should. I don't have the confidence or the tools or strategies or anything like that. So I'm trying to build a community of people that are in that spot that want to take that step. And I want to coach and encourage and equip. So if that sounds like where you're currently at, tellstudios.com/cohort is the best place to learn more about how I'm trying to help people that are in that space to show up. Because again, I really believe that your message, I almost said it backwards, but your message is more important than your mug. So
Yep.
let me help you, or find somebody else that is really going to encourage you and help get you out there. But I would love to be that for you. So that's tellstudios.com/cohort. And then if you're just like, no, I've kind of have some confidence. I don't even know what video to make. I don't, should I do this about me video? I don't feel comfortable, confident. Does that have to be the first one? If you want 27 video ideas, then go to tellstudios.com/video ideas and
Yeah.
your free download. Give me your email address. I'll give you a free download that will have all these different video ideas and even some like prompt starters to help you think like, oh, okay, let me just answer this question and I can do this video. And yeah, a couple of places, but and if you just want to email me, my email is Ryan, RYAN at tellstudios.com. But be happy to help any of your people that are looking for something that I have to offer.
He's got great offerings, and I will chime in with a small commercial. I know a lot of you out there listening are coaches who feel vulnerable about putting your thought leadership and your opinions in your domain out there on LinkedIn for all to see. And this cohort is exactly what you need. So Ryan doesn't have to sell. I will be the third party confirmation that this is exactly the kind of thing that'll push you over the hump. I am going to get the 27 because we all struggle with blank page, even those of us who have never ending opinions about everything. So it's always nice to be like, what am I going to talk about today? Let's see what Ryan thinks I should talk about, because it could just get you out there in
Yeah.
a new way. So kind of, no matter what stage you're at, whether you're trying to figure out the story to tell, how to start telling the story, how to tell the story better or more consistently, that is exactly why we wanted to have Ryan here, is to reinforce the fact that you have a story to tell and it matters. Your mission, your ministry, your message is more important than your mug. People matter. and connecting with them through your story matters, and getting that truth out into the world is exactly why you're here. And it could be your most underutilized asset. There could be one person that you met 12 years ago who needs to hear that story. And then you'll find out 12 years later that you did. So you don't need a production team to tell it. You just need the guts and maybe a phone to get there. So this has been amazing. I love hanging out and chatting with you. And as we kind of wind down, let's give everybody one little last tidbit. So somebody's sitting out there going, crap, they're talking to me.
You're right.
I have this
we are
story.
Talking to you.
You're talking to me. I have a story to tell, and I haven't started yet. What do you want to say to that person?
I mean, if you don't believe it, ask somebody else. Do you think I should be sharing this? Mm-hmm. My guess is the person that you pick to ask that to is somebody that you trust, and that's somebody that is for you, and they're going to say, yeah, please do us all a favor and get out there. So yeah, I mean, just start. It's going to be scary. Your first video is going to suck. It's going to be really bad.
It's going to be bad.
And your second one's probably not going to be a lot better. But it might be a little bit better. So it's just something that you're going to have to make a handful before you feel a lot more confident. And but publishing and practicing that is really, you're going to do yourself a favor, but you're also going to do a favor for a lot of other people. So believe in that. Believe that you've got something to offer, and get started. Yeah.
Believe in yourself, connect with yourself and with that message, and then give it to others. And I love the idea of, you don't have to turn on the phone video as the first pathway or first medium to telling the story. You could go talk to somebody you trust and tell it and put it out there, right? Because that's a little bit of goal setting, a little bit of intent, and that you get some feedback in a trusted, smaller space than YouTube. So great way to start. And I want to challenge all of you out there to think about the part of the story that you've been sitting on because you didn't think it matters. How could you use it to connect more meaningfully this week? Whether it's with a client, a teammate, or a bigger audience. What is that little piece of story that you've been holding back and putting out there? You can even go so far as to tag Ryan and I and tell us what it is. If you want a little human behind your brand, or you want a little human accountability. But I want to remind you all that you have a story, and that story matters. So connect with it yourself and allow others to connect with you through it. And you will leave your little mark on this world.
Yeah. Love that.
Ryan Koral, thank you so much for joining me.
Angie, you're awesome. Seriously, thank you for having me. Thanks for inviting me into your world and trust me with your people. But love the work you're doing. Keep it up.
Well, you're stuck in my world now, so I'm glad you're here. Yeah. And to all of you out there, I am Angie Callan, and this has been another amazing episode of No More Mondays. A big thanks again to Ryan for reminding us that behind every brand is a beating heart. Your story might just be the greatest strength that you have, both in business and in life. So I'll catch you next week for another awesome conversation to help you live and work authentically.